Hey guys, today we're going to talk about speed fixes for your Shopify website. So it's really not a surprise that conversion rate is affected by your loading speed on your website. This has been around for years and everybody knows to do something about it. And natively, Shopify does a lot to optimize your speed, which is done through a lot of the features and the code and the backend they have. But there are certain things you need to worry about also if you're not on Shopify, because it's just not there out of the box. You need to apply it yourself. And even if you run a modern shop system, WooCommerce, Shopify, Magento, all these different platforms, you still have a lot that needs to be fixed. So let me just go through them right here in this video. And by the way, this is part of a course that I'm launching soon, which is going to be very, very cheap, because I think this information is better out there and it should be accessible to everyone no matter where you live in the world. But just follow me, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you want to make sure to be here once it launches. So the first fix I want you to focus on is optimizing your images. This is really, really easy. On Shopify, there are certain apps you can use. On WooCommerce, there are also apps you can use. You can use apps like TinyPNG, and there's even apps and plugins which you can install on WordPress or on Shopify that will then automatically improve the image quality. Or what you can also do is take all your images and put them through something like TinyPNG. It will optimize it without the loss of quality, and then you can re-upload them afterwards in Shopify or WooCommerce. That's number one, and that has a huge impact. We can see here also in the screenshot that bounce rate increases by the amount of loading on this speed. So if you have a 10-second load time, you're going to see massive bounce rate. So that's just something you need to take into consideration. The next fix is JavaScript issues. A lot of people see that. Typically, you will see all your JavaScripts loading inside of your Google Tag Manager. And if you're not doing that, like literally just adding them in the header code, then you need to take all your scripts, which can be Google Analytics. Maybe you're using Hotjar. Maybe you're using an A/B testing tool. Maybe you're using Facebook or whatever it is. All your scripts, no matter what they are, should be inside of your Google Tag Manager. That's really, really important. Because they take a long time to load and they really slow down your website. You can actually optimize when JavaScripts are loading, and you can set them to a certain delay if it's not important that they load instantly on the website. And that's something we do for a lot of our clients, and we help them actually gain a really, really high page speed with optimizing of all scripts. The next fix is caching techniques, which is a way of like your site having memory and being able to understand that this site or this part of the content has been loaded before, which is why it doesn't need to be loaded again when you browse another page that are using a lot of the same elements on your website. Caching is something you get automatically through Shopify to some extent, but there are also plugins you can research and install on Shopify as well. If you're using something else like WooCommerce, WordPress, and other platforms, then you don't get caching by default, and then here you have to install it. For WordPress, there is like VP Rocket, which is a big one, but there are tons of them out there. Just literally Google caching plugins for WooCommerce or WordPress, and you'll find some good ones out there. Fix number 9 is content delivery networks, which is a way for you to load content in your local area using a local routed server. This is really great because instead of your content loading from, let's say, Asia, if you're based in the US, it will find a server closer to you and deliver the content faster. So CDNs, you get that out of the box with Shopify because they have their own CDN system. But if you're not on Shopify, then you need to set that up. You can use something like Cloudflare, which is probably the most famous one, and it's quite inexpensive. You can also use Amazon and their web services, but it's really easy and does cost a lot of money. That actually does make a big difference. So make sure to set that up on your site. It's really, really easy, and you will be thankful for that later on. Let's talk about hosting as well. Hosting is pretty big, and you don't have that issue on Shopify. Again, this is really interesting. Shopify has taken all these things and just making it part of your website. But if you're on other sites and shop system, BigCommerce, Magento, WooCommerce, and I could keep going, you need to set up your own hosting. And a lot of shops are setting up terrible hosting services that are really slow, or using a shared hosting provider. I don't even want to get into that, but shared hosting is a really terrible thing to do, because you're sharing your server with other people. You don't know what they're doing, and you could suddenly see a drop in resources when you do that. So you want to get a dedicated server. That's really key. We know for a fact that these three examples, SiteGround, DigitalOcean, and IS Hosting, are really good for e-commerce, so you can check them out as well. We personally use DigitalOcean for some of our clients, and we have really great experiences with them. So that's a premium host you can be using, and you need to switch if you're not on a good one. And how do you know if you're not on a good one? Well, if you do a page speed test, you will literally see the response time for your server, and if that is in the red, then you will want to change. And also go in and verify, do you have a dedicated server right now? And if you don't have that, switch over. That's really important. Clean up your code is something you will want your developer to do, which is next fix here. Cleaning up your code is not as easy as it may sound. You will need a developer to look into every single file on your server, how everything is being set up, and honestly, there's a lot here that only a developer could work with. But you can find tons of these on Upwork. You can find developers anywhere that knows and specializes in cleaning up code with the purpose of speeding up your website. So fix number 11, clean up your code, is something you should be doing, and it shouldn't be super expensive. Fix number 12 is use gzip compression. This is again a bit technical, and something that your backend developer can work on. You basically instruct your server to wrap up all your web objects like images and so on in a single container. This is a bit technical, but this is something you really want to do in order to optimize your speed, and again, just get your developer to fix it. Fix 13, reduce access HTTP requests. Again, technical, but something we do for a lot of our clients. We actually see pretty good results on this one. So you will want your developer to specifically focus on fixing HTTP requests, because they can really slow down your website a lot, and we see it as a common issue on a lot of e-commerce websites. So get that fixed. Anyway, that's a wrap up for all these lessons. You can see all of them here as well. If you just want to write that down or take a screenshot and send to your developer, you can do that. If you found any value in this video, please like, subscribe, and stay tuned for the course that's coming up in a little while. Thank you.